Yo, we're strapping up at NTN and Trap News Network. Back in the same, like, cook, cracking the same, man. Hit that like, hit that comment, hit that good subscribe button. Everything we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network, bro. We finna slide over to rap news, street politics. But before we do, hit that like, hit that comment, hit that good subscribe button for everything we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. Man at the Garden Freestyle out now. Please don't touch my I Got a Body on the Fairy Tales. Won't forget Boogeyman. They all out now. RichTrapHouse.com. Get into that. Big shout out to Rap News, Street Politics. If you ain't subscribed to them, make sure you subscribe to them. Give them a like. Tap in what they got going on. Rolling 100 Crips, Internal War. NAC expansion, 100 days and 100 nights. If you are from LA and you don't know about the 100 days and 100 nights, I don't know if you're really from LA, my nigga. I remember that shit. I was living on Vermont in 101st. Barnacles. Let's get into this content without no further do's or don'ts, man. Let's get into this without no further do's or don'ts. Rest in peace to KP. Let's go.
Rap News Street Politics, the best hood channel on YouTube. And we backing them gunning hundreds about to speak on some hoods that's really blew up within the last decade in the city. A lot of notable members coming out of this section, new hoods forming. We also got neighborhoods trying to expand on the Eastside. And we also got really one of the only active neighborhood on neighborhood Crip wars going up in the city right now. But one of the key things that a lot of people may not know about the Hundreds is it's not like every other rolling old hood in the city. It's a collective of multiple different sets. But right now it's really fractured with the beef that's going on inside of these hoods. Now, Rolling Hundreds, like I said, in the last decade, they really exploded, especially with the 100 days, 100 nights coming out this Westmont area. But let's break down the hoods that's making up the Hundreds. Now, Century is going to be the border to the Hundreds, of course, going all the way down to the 105. Only a couple blocks away from SoFi Stadium, the new Clipper Stadium, LAX. This is where it's cracking at. The first set that's a part of the Hundreds is the neighborhood 104 Hard Time Hustlers.
We doing skits, broad day, you know the truth. CMT killer on the game, we smoke. Dead niggas in the wood who won't smoke. BK on my name, the gang know. Full clip on they block, case closed. Never ran for no beef, you ain't know. Mad stuff fully loaded, you tryna go? I'm spinning corners even though I ain't have to go. If you out and I see you, you gotta go. Double O.
And I say neighborhood because they do push the NH, but they are still Hustler Crips. Now, 104 is going to be cool with the 8/8 on the east side, but the 8/8, of course, are not going to be part of the Hundreds, and they're not a part of the neighborhood car. But the Hard Times main spot is going to be in these apartments off Van Ness and Central, and of course, down Ruth Ellen and Gramercy as well. But across Western, they're going to be tight-knit with the block. So we got two different block hoods. We got 113
Shout out to my nigga Blockface.
block and 107 block.
Big shout out to Tunchi 5.
I'm sliding through the hoochies. If I see him, I'm jumping up. My mind on the million.
Mr. Not a Regular Sea Creature himself. Shout out to Lil Bro.
I know what they be talking about. My niggas trying to kill for that dough. We gon' chalk them up. All gas, no break shit. That much when they hate shit. Now back to the basic. Talk, get your face bit. Don't fuck with no fake shit. Don't got it, I take it. Blue fame is the gang, bitch. We stay on some gang shit.
Now, the main street that's really being pushed over here is 108, which is Blue Flame Gang or Fleazy Gang. They over here off 108th and Western, but of course you got 113th and Dinker, 107th and Dinker, but 107th is also going to be a main spot for another hood inside of the Hundreds, UG Crip.
It's the fire right here, though. Yeah, nigga ain't been on shit too much over here, shit, nigga. Other than that, bro, shit, the hood. Niggas play their part, everybody got their part over here.
Now, UG is also known as UGBC, Underground Block Crip. Now, technically, it's Underground Crip, but they're tight-knit with the blocks. So this is why you will see UG Block Crip together. And their main blocks are 103rd, 105th, 106th, and like I said, 107th. Now, 105th is probably their main street right now on the one.
Look at the little white homie.
Their main blocks are 103rd,
Look at Lil Milk.
105th, 106th, and like I said, 107th. Now,
I wasn't calling you Lil Milk because I was trying to compare you to somebody because they're going to say, I ain't from blah, blah, blah. Insert disrespectful slur here that we're not going to say. I was just saying it because you're white, bro. I'm not saying it because it's not gang related. You're just white and he's white. And you stand out like a sore thumb, little white kid.
105th is probably their main.
Again, sore thumb. You stand out. We're not trying to compare you to Milk. I know you're going to say he from Whoopty Bams. We get it. He's white and you're white. No more, no less.
Street right now on the one way. But all through them blocks between Dinker and Normandy is going to be the UGs. Now, on top of them is the Bud Long Gangsta Crips.
You walk down the street, you got the 10 5s, you feel me? Them homies, niggas safe all through that area. It's 100 Crip. You know what I'm saying? Nigga get 2 more blocks down, you got the snooze all through there. Damn Bud Long and shit. Nigga can't with that shit. Nigga kill all that. We push that shit back. You feel me? Now they coming over here with the 11 deuce, trying to get their little hood shit in. But the block still smashing that bitch ass. All the 100 Crips still smashing that bitch ass. Them niggas is pushing. They pushing. They fist the go, cuz. This is Bud Long gangsters. They moving, cuz. They moving. They just be down there with the Lakers in a minute. They fucking with this.
Now, Bud Long is one of many GC hoods that's not a traditional gangster Crip hood, pushing that gangsters moving. They're a part of the Rolling Hundreds and they tight-knit with the neighborhood hard times and with them UGs and blocks, which of course means that they're gonna share the same enemies, one of which is the gangster Crips, which we're gonna get to. But 2 other large sections that's always been known to be a part of the Hundreds is Neighborhood 111 and Neighborhood 11-5 Crip.
Baby Slick, when he left me in the hood, stomped down to the ground.
The way my dead homies affected me as well, you know what I'm saying? I feel as though we shouldn't get along with nobody, you know what I'm saying? How, you know what I'm saying, you gonna peace with a nigga who smoked one of your homeboys, you know what I'm saying? It should just be everybody killer, you know what I'm saying? This neighborhood for life. It don't stop till the casket drop.
Now, a lot of y'all may have heard about 111 over some of these other hoods, especially if you're not really up on what's going on in the city. Dub C is out of the 111, so that's what people really hear about the 111s the most, especially dudes out of town. But also the 11-5s are really going to be clicked up with the 111s right across Imperial. But again, these is 2 neighborhood.
Nah, Henny, I really enjoy his videos too, man. You feel me? What's good, Trap? Why the gang is, bro? You was doing good without this. Doodles, we had nothing else to talk about, bro. We would have literally gone through every other topic in our universe, and we just kind of kicking it right now, bro. Honestly, we've gone through every other topic, and I'm not going to talk about, I don't think that it's appropriate for me to talk about the dude, Yuri, and the schmishmortion with his girl. I know that's a hot topic in our universe, but I don't think that's an appropriate topic to talk about. You feel me? Like, I don't think that it's cool to talk about people's girls. Like, if you ever paid attention, the whole, like, Stet and Heather thing, I didn't speak about because I don't think it's appropriate to talk about ninjas and their girls. Whatever Adam be having going on with his wife, you notice I don't really talk about. Kind of stay out of that kind of stuff, households and all that. So we just kicking it, big dog. But shout out to my nigga Lil Doodles. Lil Doodles, big love in the chat, bro.
Crip sets a part of the Hundreds. And this section right here on both sides of Western is where the problems arise in the Hundreds, where you have the blocks and the UGs beefing with these 111s and 11-5s. So Western and Imperial is where the Rolling Hundreds.
Hey, yeah, and Doodles, I just feel like, bro, like my nigga Doodles said, you know what I'm saying? I just don't think that that's appropriate, bro. Like, morally, I'm not going to talk about that. You feel me? Like, I don't know the Yuri dude. I see the campaign they on about, bro. I'm going to just 100% stay out of that. You feel me? 100% stay out of that. I ain't finna get involved. I don't like Yuri. I don't not like Yuri. I don't nothing with Yuri. But what I do know is it's a big thing about his girl having that schmishmortion. And I guess apparently he didn't know. And he found out the way we all found out. But I think that that's maybe something that should be left within their household and not in, you know, the YouTube streets.
Hundreds divide. But we're going to speak on the origins of the beef between the blocks and the neighborhood 111-5s as we continue the video. And then west of Van Ness from the 11-5s, you got the Watergates. They're technically a part of the Hundreds, but they hood isn't as active as they used to be. I've seen some hitters from Watergate recently, but they haven't been making a lot of noise as of late. But some key people that we see in the city from these sections, of course, from Hard Time is Snoopy Harvard, from UG, Cool Corleone, Jay Reddy, Thirsty O, from 108 Block, Tunchi, Flame Gang Uzi, and then Bino is going to be associated with the blocks, and Draco is also going to have associations over here with the blocks, which is why we see Ralphie hanging with the UGs and the blocks.
Niggas say yeah, shoot him, but you ain't shot shit. Spin it back again, we ain't drop shit. Put on hard sweater, pay some racks for this. On the outside, get your head split.
Running through the city with a rich bitch. She ain't talking to me, I be stay slip. I'm a maid, niggas bitch built. Just pot too cracky, trying to sit still.
Now, at one point in time, the Raymonds were a part of the Hundreds, but they're not pushing Rolling Hundreds anymore, even though for sure they rocking with the neighborhood Crip car. They're not going to be with the Rolling. Now, the key thing about the blocks is they really going to be around since the genesis of Crippin', where it said that Tookie and Raymond Washington would both make appearances over here on 113th and Dinker to kick it, which is how this street got its name, the block, with being a hangout spot for a lot of reputable members at that time in the early 70s. Now it's said that 113 block formed in 73, 107 formed in about 74, 75. And they used to push neighborhood block Crip because of their alliance with the 111s and the 11-5s. But as the UG started to come about and things kind of was going up and down with the 111s and 11-5s, the blocks gravitated more towards the UGs across Dinker. But it's also said that the UGs was one of the biggest hoods on the west side, going all the way up to Florence and Normandy. Now we know...
Yeah, the UGs was huge.
This is A-Tray Gangsta Crip territory now, but the UGs at that time were basically as big as the A-Trays are now, stretching 30, 40 blocks on the west side over here. But now, like we said, the UGs are really confined from 103rd to 108th between Dinker and Normandy. But all these hoods over here are extremely active. That's one thing you gotta understand. No matter the size.
You have to remember too, that comes with the development of like the rolling 90 Crips and all that kind of stuff as well too.
Territory. Now, something else we've been seeing with the block Crip name is a new hood that potentially could be forming, called Backdoor Everything Block Crip.
I was waiting if they was gonna bring that up. Okay, cool. Shout out to Rap News Street Politics, bro. We tapped the in. A lot of people don't know about that. I see you, Rap News Street Politics. You a good one for that, bro.
Niggas speaking on my block, but they spinning shit. Back though, I'm with the same niggas who I'm in it with. Niggas weird, get the fuck from around me on pretending shit. I catch the body broad day, I'm innocent, yeah. Free my niggas since little kids, we been killing shit.
Now it's said that this hood is over here in Hawthorne between Rosecrans and 136. But I've been over there and everything seemed to still be Hawthorne Lil Watts hood. I don't see any concrete evidence that a block Crip set is over here. But nonetheless, these dudes are repping it. You got some rappers that's coming out of here, Asian Man, J Bell, Baby 8, Lil E, and these dudes have said to have been sanctioned by the Hunters and the 30s. And you can see the influence coming out of the Hunters by adding this block Crip name on it. Now, I don't know if this situation gonna last. I've seen a couple of these members are from other sets. One of them being Venice Showline Crip. Now, the thing with Venice Showline and a few other hoods throughout the city, the Showline hood is kind of ducked off. So the membership with Showlines is really homegrown. Like, you're not just finna find your way randomly at Oakwood Park.
Yeah, like hoods like Showline, Playboys, Blasted Fools, Mansfield, Bedrocks. What else over there in West LA? The Gears, I think. I don't know if they claim West LA. But majority of the hoods in West LA are very tight-knit. You feel me? They go to school together. Their parents know each other. They live in the same apartment complex. They play on the same sports teams. It's a very tight-knit community because they are a collection of smaller hoods. They tend to be a lot more familiar with one another. You know what I'm saying?
So with that being said, they one of them hoods that got like a militant movement about themselves. So I don't really see them getting behind having their young homies pushing another hood, especially block Crip. Now, one thing the Showlines push the Deuce, they push the Far West, but they're the furthest thing from neighborhood Crips. So I can honestly see them shutting that down.
Yeah, and I wonder if they fall under West LA Trays, because they don't push Gangsters Moving or Trays. But from my experiences, I've never met anybody from Venice Showline who I guess like particularly couldn't deal with a rolling Crip or a neighborhood Crip. It's that they were always with their homies from West LA Trays, and they would just kind of fall into that. So I'm not really sure where the Showlines fall under, when it comes to like that situation. If anybody's from Showlines in the comments, please let us know. We'd love to be informed. We'd love to have education on it.
In their section, with some dudes trying to claim BDE that's already been put on the Showline, I can see that causing friction in this area. Now, the thing is, the 30s is cool with Showline. And like I said, some members from Backdoor Everything are said to be from Harlem as well. So, this could be like a little click phase that dudes is going through the block Crip.
See, this is what we know too. Every good click in LA is now a gang. Hey, Doodles, drop a comment, bro. I just threw you a blick. Every good click in LA has turned into a gang for shit show.
On it because they hanging in the Hunters too. I can't say for sure that BDE is going to take off and be another block Crip set in the city, especially on the west side, because there's a lot of implications that come with that. And even though block Crip is a neighborhood, They rolling with the old car,
And then here go the thing too. If every clique don't turn into a gang, the gang is gonna make them turn they gang. You feel me? Like niggas is banging. I'm gonna take it back. Sex jerks, flirts, Penn State, Freak Squad, all that kind of stuff. Y'all might laugh. It was real powers from all those cliques. You know what I'm saying? Freak Squad was like my generation and all that kind of stuff. But I remember the set. My brother graduated in '99. I ain't gonna say from where, but he graduated at LA Unified in '99. He graduated from Westchester. It is what it is. Nobody gives a fuck. But I remember like some of his homies was banging like Penn State, Freaks, Penn State, Flirts. It was a whole bunch of other little cliques they little had, but all them niggas turned 60s. Them niggas turned A-Tray gangsters. Niggas turned Inglewood families. The niggas started grabbing them niggas. Man, get the fuck up out of here. And some of them cliques started getting into a real gangs, and some niggas became victims of getting into it with real gangs. Some niggas was forced to turn hood to the gang that was beefing with. Now you a part of this. Some niggas went to the opposite gang. You know what I'm saying? But it all just goes to show that in Los Angeles, it's a very tribal mentality. And even without Bloods and Crips, unfortunately, we'll still figure out a way to separate and war with each other. We're a very tribal society. Maybe one day I'll do a video on that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Let's just keep going.
It pretty much is rolling with the neighborhoods.
I say all that to say that just because you from a clique don't mean that you ain't finna turn into a gangbanger. We ain't even finna get into the Mexican tagging crews that they may push to 13 eventually, but that's a whole different story for a different day.
Even though, like I said, they're a part of the only active neighborhood-on-neighborhood Crip beef in the city. And another hood that we see.
Yeah, that's incredible to see. A neighborhood-on-neighborhood Crip beef, that is barnacles.
Thing kind of pop up in recent years over here in this Westmont area is Pimptown. So Pimptown is not really a part of the Hunnids, but they are going to be close with the blocks. But we seen Pimptown really rep a lot of different stuff. We seen Pimptown with the gangster Crip on the end. We've seen it with neighborhood block Crip. But Pimptown is going to be over here by the 11 Deuce Hoovers, just north of the Raymonds and west of the Denver Lanes. They're also a new set, but they are going to be tied in with the blocks regardless. I would say Pimptown has a lot more room for growth compared to BDE, especially
now, I'm wondering, will Pimptown remain their own gang, or will they become absorbed into, because look, you see you got the Pimptowns, you got the 11 Deuce Hoovers, you got the blocks right there, you know what I'm saying, all kind of wooty bams, all that blah blah. I'm wondering, will Pimptown be absorbed by the Hoovers, or will they kind of maybe take it this way and go block Crip? You feel me? Like it's a very interesting situation to see, because it could go a lot of different ways. Like this can just go here and be like, no nigga, we're doing this now, and then they could go to war and then may the winner be the new writer of history, or they could kind of take it this way and go.
But they are going to be tied in with the blocks regardless.
So they could like kind of take it this way and then slid with the they for sure beef with the Hoovers. Because the Hoovers ain't finna let nothing come around. That's number one, not from Hoover. You feel me? Not from Hoover exists. They don't want to coexist with nothing. And then they kicking it with the blocks. So we know how that go. And it's so interesting to see. Just crazy. LA, just so y'all can see this. 11, it's called the 111 Neighborhood Crip because they're on 111th Street. 113th Street Block Crips. 11 Deuce Hoover, 112th Street. 115th Street. These are all like literally, these niggas are across the street from each other. Interesting to see. When you watch it from a map aspect, it makes you kind of wonder, like, damn, well, what happened if we all live cohesively? Because niggas is like literally right here. I would say they're all neighbors, but somebody might take that offensively. They're all members of the same community, honestly. 145th side. What's the deal, bro?
I would say Pimptown has a lot more room for growth compared to BDE, especially when it comes to this block Cripping. And territory-wise, I'm pretty sure if BD was to fully set up shop and get cracking in Hawthorne, not only would they be beefing with the shotguns, they would also be beefing heavily with Hawthorne Lil Watts, which would probably drag the other blocks and the other Hunnids down to Hawthorne to take part in that war as well. And really right now, they on their own island, you know what I'm saying? They're not gonna rock with any of the gangster Crips, 11-8, Mad Ass Gangsters, or Hawthorne Thug Family. And with Pimptown being right next to the blocks in the Hunnids, I think they will be able to thrive and benefit more when it comes to beef. But one thing that turned the world on to the Hunnids, especially UG and Block, was 100 Days, 100 Nights in 2015.
Now, this right here was a crazy experience. a crazy, like, man, look, I don't know if y'all can see, nigga, the hairs are standing up on my arm. Literally, the hairs are standing up on my arms. I got goosebumps, nigga. 100 days and 100 nights, nigga. I stayed on Vermont in 101st. That shit was tricky. Tricky. Man. Going to the fucking grocery store was always a, you know.
Still can't pause me. Thirsty in the field, we be sliding with Rockies. Lil' Brody got hit up in his face, he put the gang on him. Baby thirst, slide on 84th, she got a name on him. Brody get the chip.
Fuck you, Jason.
When I'm pregnant, now you staying safe. Brody in the field, I'm in the field of me, going crazy. Don't let me hunt the blick, it ain't no devil, he gon' spray it. Somebody cook
You know what? I want to say this. Niggas talk a lot of tough shit in these YouTube streets. Ask your favorite LA YouTuber where they was living at during the 100 days and 100 nights. I was on Vermont in 101st. Where was you niggas at? Yeah, okay. No, hey, so Doodles. And you know what? So I'm on the Vermont side. So, all right, Doodles, you know how you imagine Century in Vermont. You got the donut shop on the right side. You got the little alley is a fish spot. Across the street is a Pizza Hut and a liquor store. I'm in the house directly behind the fish spot. And they was coming through that motherfucker, bro. Because they would hit the alley. Nigga go wild on 101st and get low. All that type of shit. And then hit the alley and get back out. So you can hit, if you going towards Hawthorne, you feel me? They can hit, if you on Vermont going towards Hawthorne, you going deeper into the hundreds, you can hit 101st and then boom, slide that way. And then you can do your due diligence and bang down Budlong, Western, whatever you decide. Or them niggas that come through off Vermont, slide through the donut shop parking lot, hit the alley, park up, jump out, do their due diligence, blah, 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 jump back in and then they go that way. And then they can go into the neighborhood and make a left and go make a right back onto Vermont. Or they can go into the neighborhood, make a right and go a Budlong, whatever the case is. Or them niggas could just back the fuck up and then just jump back on Century and then go that way or whatever. Like, it was so many. That little spot was crazy, bro, for 100 fucking days, bro. I remember coming out the spot like, man, shit, I got Yankee Doodle on me because what the fuck is going on over here? And you would never know who you would see. You would see a nigga from Hoover. You would see a nigga from Hundreds. It was just all kind of niggas just sliding through and everybody would hit that. All gang members in 2015, all you niggas had the same idea about that alley. Wasn't none of you niggas clever, bro. Wasn't none of you niggas clever. And if somebody watching that video right now, do not drop a comment and incriminate yourself. But if somebody in that comment, in his comments right now that know about that alley, if you hit that alley, let me be the first to tell you as a nigga who lived there, your enemies hit that same alley. Wasn't none of you niggas slick.
Now, what really jumped off when KP from Block, Kenneth Peavy, was gunned down in his hood on 109th. Now, this is when they said that it started. And for everybody that's not familiar with 100 Days and 100 Nights, it was really these UGs and Blocks and the Hunters all together going at it with the Hoovers and the gangsters in a war that was supposed to last 100 nights with 100 bodies. But the key thing is, 2015 alone was an extremely deadly year. And honestly, this situation started before.
Hey, Doodles, giving life. Y'all some real LA niggas. Y'all know exactly what the fuck I was just saying just now.
Before KP was allegedly killed by the Hoovers on 109th and Hobart. Rewinding the clock back to March 2015, the UGs was getting cracking. So on March 12th, on 105th, the one-way, Bill Shepard, aka $100 Bill, who was a factor in this section, a reputable member, Infant Toon, Baby Hound, and other members from UG, Quincy Jefferson and Cleo Steele, was all on 105th when Toon and Hound pulled up and said they seen somebody by the name Cleveland Ross on Century and Hoover at the AutoZone. Now, Ross was a reputable dude from Hoover, and everybody knows Century's gonna be a big...
I'm gonna let it play after this. For those of y'all who don't understand, nigga, it was so dangerous during that time, I wouldn't even take my kids with me to the grocery store. That was that little Rouse. What's that shit on El Segundo? Nigga, I wouldn't even take my kids to the grocery store, bro. I wouldn't take my kids outside to go to the ice cream truck. I used to get in my car and I used to drive. I ain't gonna tell y'all where, but I used to get in my car and drive 30 minutes to take my kids to the park to play because it was so cracking over there. You feel me? And then at first I thought I was slick. I used to go up to Athens Park and play with the kids and all that kind of shit because wasn't nobody tripping. Niggas like, oh, we from whatever. Niggas weren't worried about that shit. But during that time, nigga, I'm gone, nigga. I took that shit to Orange County. Imagine going to a whole different county to take your kids. I live on 101st in Vermont. Nigga, I used to go off what was that, State Boulevard, State College, whatever that is, off the 91. I used to go over there to take the kids to the park, bro.
Street for the H gang. But the Hoover hoods that border this block section is gonna be
in Fullerton, bro. Legit taking them niggas. It was by downtown Fullerton.
107 and 11 Deuce. But the 9 Deuces is not gonna be far as well. That Century and Hoover is really gonna be the borderline between the 107s and the 9 Deuces. But either way, Cleveland Ross Jr. was at the AutoZone with his pops, fixing his BMW car battery. He was spotted, and these dudes hopped in the caravan, rolled 3 cars deep, down Century to this AutoZone. Now, Toon was in the whip with Jefferson, the lead car. Another member from UG named Johnny Johnson hopped into his whip with Steele, and they had another homie tailing them to the AutoZone. Now, they circled the AutoZone. Jefferson said he seen Ross putting the battery in, trying to start his car. And this is when he jumps out with a 357 and shoots Ross Jr. at least 7 times. Now, it's said after this, they slid back to 105th, where surveillance cameras and cell phone towers had tapped them. But this was in March. They were still cool until June. So June 10th come around, still 2015, before
If you know what June 10th is, you know. If you don't worry about it.
KP's killed on 109th, where it said that 4 dudes suspected to be from Hoover was on 88th in Vermont. Michael Washington, Michael Baptist, Larrell Williams, and Kevin Carr was at the Monarch Liquor Store, really on the border of ETG and 9 Deuce Hoover. But of course, the UGs are beefing with both A-Tray and 9 Deuce. But really, those are the only 2 hoods that are gonna be over here by 88. We know that's a main spot for the Hoovers. So it said that Michael Baptist pulls up to the liquor store in the Dodge Dart. He goes in to get some cigarettes. Michael Washington get out to go holler at somebody from across the street. When Baptist got back in the car, he seen 3 dudes in the whip that he recognized wasn't from their section. And he was trying to get up out of there. But at this time, that's when these dudes in that car started letting off. And when he tried to reverse, a Chevy Malibu had blocked him in. So a bullet hit him in his leg and twice in his back. And he say somebody got so close that he heard him say, "You next," before he was shot in the mouth. But at this time, he was able to see Michael Washington, who again had hopped out the car to go holler at somebody. He was staggering across the street and ended up dying from multiple gunshot wounds. And the female that was at the bus stop also got hit. 5 people was hit in total. But Michael Washington is the only one that died. Now, at this time, they had a bunch of dudes from UG gaffled up after one of the 9 Deuce members was said to have made statements while he was still under anesthesia and pointed out one of the members from UG. Now, you know, this is a wobbler. You know how they play games. You sitting there drugged up off a couple shots and they point your finger to somebody. I'm not saying that's what happened, but when Kevin Carr woke up, he said he didn't remember pointing nobody out. But the dude in the white Malibu that blocked their car in, Patrick Bell, he was from UG and he was cousins with Cleo Steele. Mind you, Steele was on both of these hits from March and June. Patrick Bell ended up flipping for a plea bargain and gave a testimony against Cleo Steele. And Jefferson, the one who hopped out on Cleveland with the 357, he ended up snitching on Steele for a plea agreement as well. And Dollar Bill, who was on the 5 with these dudes before they killed Ross at the AutoZone, he lost his life over here on 107th only a couple years after these events by those apartments between Dinker and Western. But in all, these 2 events happened before KP was murdered.
That's really sad. God bless everybody involved in these situations.
UG's looking to take down some Hoovers. And on July 17, 2015, KP was the target of a chase-down homicide early in the morning. Presumably.
And it's cold because, like, they literally walked bro down in, like, his backyard and, like, his mom's house or his homie's house or some random ish like that.
For retaliation.
A security camera was rolling at 12:45 in the morning on Friday, July 17th, 2015, when a car rolled down the street with someone inside shooting at Kenneth Peavy.
He comes into view and then out of view of the camera right here. And then following him, we see the first suspect, gun in hand, chasing him as well. Once the suspect is just out of view of the camera, you'll see some muzzle flashes from the gun, and then that suspect takes off running back down the driveway this way. The second suspect runs in as well. You actually see him holding the gun and firing 2 rounds, and then he also runs back down this driveway.
Now, in this whole year, before and after 100 days, 100 nights, there was 87 homicides that happened between this Westmont and Hoover area. And
hell yeah, Snoop Will Park. I remember that shit.
They surrounded enemies. So 2015 was for
my nigga. That whole area was wild as fuck, bro. Like, and I just remember that time, and I got goosebumps even talking about that shit. Henny snitching is snitching. Whether you on Henny, whether you on Remy, whether you on vodka, whether you on powder, whether you on tree, whether you on whatever, nigga, you told. You snitching is snitching. But man, that shit was like a fucking Grand Theft Auto server around that motherfucker, boy.
Show a cracking year. Dale Dog from 98 Maine also died. That was before 100 days, 100 nights. But again, that situation was up before July. 2015 is also when J Hood caught his homicide. We may talk about this. J Hood's supposed to get out later this year. We'll tap in with J Hood and see what's up. But we do have some details with him in 2015 when he caught his homicide case. Like I said, 2015 was a hot year in the city. Now, we know the war between the Hoovers and the Hunters is one that's seen a lot of reputable members be killed on both sides. But another situation that happened in the blocks, where it's alleged that the Hoovers were a part of, was when a member named Bone from Block was killed on 111th and Western. Now, Bone, real name Charles Lewis, was killed on May 6, 2020 in this 11-3 block hood. But a notable thing is, on the same day Bone was killed, earlier that afternoon, another man was killed on 58th and Hoover. Now, it's not said that both of these situations are related, but that's something that's low-key eye-opening, with one of these murders happening in the Fido's Hoovers and another one happening in the blocks. Even though these hoods are nowhere near each other, all of the Hoovers is going to beef with the blocks. And then a year after that situation happened, a reputable member named Kbomb from Hard Time was killed on Van Ness and Century. Again, like we said, Van Ness and Century is going to be the main spot for 104 Hard Time. Reason being is because the Hard Times is there, the 9-0s is there, the Inglewood families, and the Avenue Pyrus are going to exist at this intersection. But the key thing about Century, like we said, the Hoovers is also down Century. And it's alleged that they took part in this murder on Kenneth Smith, a.k.a. Kbomb. Now, of course, like I said, the blocks are not only beefing with the Hoovers and the 8-Trays, they also are beefing with the 9-9 Mafias. And the 9-9s are going to be the only Mafia hood on the west side. And they kind of in a weird position with where they stand politically. So they fell out with the 8-Trays, and we see them whacking out the ETGs on Normandy and 95th. They don't seem to have any beef with the Hoovers, but they also are beefing with the 9-0s, who's right down Century, and they beefing with the Hunters. I think a beef with the Hoovers would really put them probably off the map. I'm just not going to lie, I'm going to keep it real. They don't have a lot of territory, but they do have hitters in this section, man. I got to keep it real. And they are said to have allegedly been responsible for making Blue Flame Gang, BFG, on 108th and Western, when it was alleged that they killed Keontae Daniels in 2014, who went by the name Blue Flame and was a part of original Block Crip. But this is another set that Block...
Yeah, man. Just generations and generations of genocide, bro. Like, golly, man. Peer-to-peer genocide at that. It's crazy. Like, this is literally peer-to-peer genocide. To the point where beefing with your enemies ain't even enough. Niggas is into it with each other.
Is beefing with, but 9-9, like I said, they got a lot of beef on their hands. And they don't seem to be turning nothing down. I'm going to keep it real. We see them going at it with all them hoods that we named, but they haven't aligned themselves with their Mafia counterparts down Century in the 984, which we going to touch on. But to stay in these Hunters, like I said, this section is where the only NAC versus NAC beef lies. Between 111, 11-5, and the blocks.
All right, nigga. F, gang, we got that shit out West 5.
F the homies is crazy. F the homies? We gotta figure this out. This has to be remedied. Like this, F the homies? Crazy.
Block, nigga. Why ain't daddy? Everybody, nigga.
Like they're all from the same hood. This is crazy.
Now, like I said, this used to be NHBC, Neighborhood Block Crip. They was all tight. And I think there was some ups and downs on the road, but they're now in full-fledged war due to allegations that the 111s were responsible for the homicides of Lavelle, Lil Spy Gilchrist, and Craig Big Batiste. Now, Big is going to be Flame Gang Uzi dad. He was killed over here behind Animo in 111. But it's alleged that the 111s was responsible for that. And they've been going up for about the last 4 years over that situation. And I say neighborhood on neighborhood because the block Crips are kind of like the Harlems. But I would say they one step deeper into being neighborhoods, where they part of the rolling car, they ally with the neighborhoods, but they not neighborhood. They blocks, but they kind of are. A lot more than the Harlems. And then we have, like I said, the Hard Times and the Budlons are cool with the blocks. So where does that leave neighborhood Hard Time versus the 111s? But I think that situation with Big, also known as the mayor, was major. He was involved in gang intervention at that time. He was back cleaning up the streets. I don't know the details from that situation, but sadly he lost his life over here, and it has these young dudes from block going up against the 111s, and we've seen the 111s dissing blocks as well and sliding through their hood.
All this shit, my block. On up. This really came shit. Nigga, they don't hang out. Dead homies. Smile up. Western Avenue, nigga. Yeah, we about to go down to BC. This is really clock stuff. Dead homies.
So
look,
crazy
nigga,
here.
them niggas already know what the going on.
Now, it's said that the 111s also were allegedly involved in the murder of somebody named Lil D, who was also from Block. And in 2022, we seen them alleging that the Blocks were sending their homegirls to court to lie on somebody named Manhattan, who they claim was allegedly responsible for the murder of Lil D. And we also see the 111s alleging that Lil J-Bone and Tiny J-Bone from Block were snitching in that case as well. We don't have no proof of that, but you just see the back and forth between these hoods. You know, this is something that's low-key crazy, especially when we're talking about the neighborhood car. Now, we know the 40s and the 60s have gone at it. Even the 30s and the 40s have gone at it. I even got a homie from 60s that was shot by a dude from East Coast. But to have a full-out war like this again, especially from hoods that's this close. The 30s and the 40s, there was like Martin Luther King Day parade rumbles and shit like that. I don't know if it really got that out of hand like the 40s and the 60s did, but the proximity from the blocks to the 111s is what makes the situation extremely dangerous. But we've seen a lot of beef get started and end over here in the Hundreds. It was said that the Watergates used to beef it with the blocks as well at one point in time. I believe the Watergates also used to beef with the Raymonds. And we all know the Hoovers used to be cool with everybody. And it said that really when the 107s got started is when problems and shootouts started to arise with the Hoovers and the blocks. But we also see other situations throughout the city where recently we have seen the 30s and the 60s going back and forth with some dudes from 11-8 Block East Coast and other East Coast hoods. And there's also a hit up that's been floating around of the 8 Trays whacking out the 7-4 Hoovers. Now, both of those situations are really just personal. There's no bloodshed behind that. Not everybody's gonna get along, even with hoods that you ally with. So this situation we could see get fixed. Like I said, it's a lot of young dudes now, though. That's what I mean by the Block Crips exploding. They got a big, influential young generation that's coming out.
Social media is not making this any better for anybody.
And that's who's really pressing the gas and fueling this war right now. So I don't know how long this 111 versus Block Crip situation is going to last in the Hundreds, man. But hopefully it can get cleaned up between these dudes. But coming down Century on the east side, like I was saying, there is some expansions and movements that's happening on the east, primarily with the main streets.
The shit that we be on, niggas wouldn't attempt. The last nigga try to score, got blocked at the rim. It's a lot of consequences when you whacking at him. And them niggas can't shoot, send it back to the gym. You know I'm straight off 98, I got some lows on the phone. Get close and let it flash, tell him strike for a post. Just a couple shots to Remy, she gon' turn to a hoe. Top rank around this bitch from really blowing that post.
So this is where the mafias differ, east side to west side. So we said the 9-9 mafias is beefing with the gangsters and the neighborhoods. We all know since about 2009 or 10, the 984 mains have fell out with the Hoovers and have really gravitated toward the neighborhoods where they stopped beefing with 97 East Coast and Q102 East Coast, two hoods that they really are bordering and they start beefing heavily with the Hoovers, but they also beefing with the 9-7 Gangsta Crips and the 8-7 Gangsta Crips. And this situation that we seen with Shoutouts and his homies up at the park trying to take over the 8-7s, this situation could potentially get out of hand.
Macy, I'm back. Oh, nah, y'all see where I'm at.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah, y'all see where I'm at. I'm back. I told y'all, this ain't no 1 day, 2 day shit. This is officially our hood, nigga. This the our shit, nigga. It's members up here, nigga.
Where you from? You right? Hey, some gangsters, right? You make some gangsters, nigga. You make some gangsters, nigga. Stop lying to me, nigga. You make some gangsters, nigga. Okay. Nigga, you make some gangsters, nigga. Nigga, you make some gangsters, nigga.
Hey, this banger shit not for you, cuz.
Nigga, you make some gangsters.
Now, the thing is, the 8-7s are bordering the 8-4s across Manchester, and the 9-8s are not far. But the 8-7s and the 9-7s is two more of them gangster crib hoods that I was telling you about aren't fully GC Trey Time moving hoods. They moving coast to coast with the 4-pack, so they rock with the neighborhood East Coast. And I think, honestly, the 8-7s should have made a decision a long time ago, because at this time, they seem to
decision-making is hard.
Be stuck between a rock and a hard place. I'm gonna keep it real. The 8-7s, 87th and Wall.
That's crazy too. I remember when the man, and here the fuck we are. Here the fuck we are. Shit, they got some niggas pushing rolling 70s, and they pushing that shit. Some little young niggas, and they own that shit. So we gonna see where this goes, man. Development is gonna be crazy. Like, and you gotta remember too, with every generation comes a new breed of young niggas. With every new breed of young niggas comes new cliques, new gangs, new this, new that, new blah blah blah. You feel me?
87th Street and 87th Place on Main, on Wall, them apartments on 87th Place. The 8-7s is active. And
yeah, the Menlo's pushing rolling 70s.
Of course, we know what they did to P&B Rock. The 8-7s is not
WACK. What's the deal, man?
Playing. But when we talking territory, they smashed in between the Hoovers, the Main Streets, the Avalons, the Swans. But I have seen 8-7 Kitchen hitting up in their hood too. So I think they on good terms with the Kitchens over here. But again, they kind of got their hands tied behind their back. Like we seen some people talk about with some of the 8-7 young homies not feeling the program from their OGs and turning East Coast or turning 4-pack over there by South Park. And honestly, I think that's due to some fossilized politicking. I feel like when the Main Streets squashed their beef with the coast, the 8-7 and Main Street beef should have been squashed too, because 8-7 rock with the coast. And they both beef with Avalon, they both beef with the Swans, but not wanting to budge off a position is potentially costly if it's true that some of their young homies is leaving and you got both Main Streets, one trying to cross 92nd and the other one trying to cross Manchester. So this is what I was talking about with seeing neighborhood Crip expansion, because at this point in time, the Main Streets is tight with all the neighborhoods. We done seen them kicking in with the 9-0s. They heavy tight-knit with the East Coast. We done seen a grip of them dudes with the 6-pack. So this is just something that's interesting to see in the city, man. And then with these dudes being up at Green Meadows Park, which is the park Shoutouts and them was hanging out, saying that the 8-7s wasn't at, the 8-8 Hard Times is going to be right over here as well. Now, like I said previously, the 8-8s and the 104 Hard Times are both cool. And with the 104 Hard Times being neighborhood, the 984 Mains should have squashed their beef with the 8-8s as well. So this is also something that's spread in that neighborhood Crip alliance. Even though, like I said, the 8-8s are not neighborhood, but they do share common enemies in the 8-8 Avalons. But nonetheless, this is what's going on in South Central. These are the politics that can potentially have long-lasting effects in the city, with new hoods coming out, hoods that used to be cool in full-fledged war, and some hoods that we can be seeing taking off the map all together, man. But overall, man, y'all stay locked in.
Man, big shout out to Rap News Street Politics, man. Like, comment, subscribe, like, comment, subscribe, like, comment, subscribe. Red dots to the left, y'all know the rest. Be better today than what you were yesterday, being better tomorrow, but today be at your best. We got